certainly, hopefully, one of them is making more money. People don't tend to go into things so that they can make less money. So the direct, immediate pull, the reason many farmers are interested in getting into this is they're seeing declining interest in beef from many producers and many consumers. And part of the reason for that is this cow aversion. People are reading more, learning more. They look at King Corn, the movie. They read Michael Pollan. They see articles in Canadian Living or whatever it might be that talk about the way we're currently raising livestock. And so the solution is just don't eat it at all. So they're trying to pull back some of this sector, some of this part of the market, with producing a kind of meat that people would be more interested in buying. So sort of bringing back the per capita consumption of beef and making more money at it. And then some producers are also aware that the use of annual crops on their land may not, in fact, be sustainable. So they've got a kind of a land that is perhaps erosion prone, or maybe it's sloping, or it just isn't going to sustain itself for very long under annual cropping. So putting it into forages makes good sense. And that can be not permanent forages. It might be forages for 5 years for the purpose of grass finishing, in rotation with potatoes or in rotation with other crops. So the forages build up the soil, recover the damage done by the annual crops, whatever they were. Then the annual crops get their interval of time, then you go back to the perennial forages. So there are people interested in that kind of application. There are some that have classes of land that don't lend themselves to any sort of other use. So this may give them a vehicle for using that. It's actually an interesting question. Who is it that would be the kind of producer who would pick this up? Would it be a current feedlot operator who's looking at the price of corn going through the roof and saying, I've made this investment in my infrastructure for feedlotting. If I can't use grain to do it, or potatoes or whatever else it might be, maybe this gives me a vehicle. So I can pasture for the summer season, I can feedlot them on forage, on silage or haylage or whatever it might be, and I can still produce the product that I want. So it could be that, it could be a young farmer. One of the nice things about grass finishing is it's very scale neutral. So you could have 10 cattle, 10 steers that you're going to finish. You can do this with 50,000 steers like they do it in Argentina.